Hello, I'm Michael Marsh. Welcome to the program dedicated to reestablishing constitutional government, first in Oregon and then in the United States. With me today is Chris Bumbles, who is the Oregon Firearms Federation
Columbia County Coordinator for Oregon Firearms
Columbia
Federation.
County.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
And he's the chief petitioner. And that petition is why we're doing the program today.
Yeah.
And every now and then you might see my co-host, Camo. Chris, tell us about this initiative that you're pushing in Columbia County.
I'd love to. And thank you for having me here. I'm the chief petitioner for the Columbia County Second Amendment Preservation Ordinance, and I just turned it in and it's on the ballot. It's going to be, in Columbia County, it'll be Measure 5-270, and what it does is it makes it illegal for our county to spend money or manpower to enforce these illegal, unconstitutional laws coming out of Salem. Or the federal government even. You know, they cannot enforce them, they can't spend any money, and it has fines. If an officer tries to enforce one, he gets a $2,000 fine, and any corporation gets a $4,000 fine. And since Kate Brown likes the emergency clause so much, we put it on this bill so it'll be law as soon as it's passed. And we're working with 27 other counties now that have just taken off. There's already 5 counties that have the law, so that's 32 altogether. This involves some way with the SAPO.
Now, Democrats are pushing for an initiative that probably won't be on the ballot, but they probably will introduce it in the legislature.
Well, there's 2 of them, IP 43 and IP 44. Yeah. Now, IP 43 is really badly written, and it covers about 7 different things. You're only supposed to have 1 subject on an initiative, so I don't even know how it's gotten this far. But it obviously is totally illegal, totally unconstitutional. The way I read it, and any first-year law student could probably twist it into confiscating all guns or making you register them, which is also illegal. It's against federal law. They want to tell you what you can have, when you can have it, where you can have it, and how you need to lock it up. Guess what? This is America. We don't do that. Guns are the reason why we're free. Guns are the reason why everybody wants to come here. All you hear is the bad things about guns from the media. You don't ever hear about the good things. All the lives it saves, all the crime it stops.
And one initiative would call for the registration of, I don't remember if it's all guns or just some guns, but they want it registered.
Yeah, well, IP 43, what it does is, the way I read it, I've read it 4 times. I'm still trying to comprehend it because it's so, redundant and twisted. And basically, they want you to turn in your guns. And if you don't want to turn in your guns, they want you to get a background check on them again and get registered so that they can confiscate them later, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's what always happens. And even when you pass them down to your kids, then they would have to get another background check and re-register them. But it also makes it so you can't buy any more what they call assault weapons, which is a totally fallacious term. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. They're modern hunting rifles or modern sporting rifles.
Well, no, assault weapon, if you just use that terminology.
Well, I guess if I go like this and hit somebody, that's an assault weapon, isn't it?
The first recorded murder in history, when Cain killed Abel, he used a rock, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was an assault rock, I guess.
Yeah, that was an assault weapon, that rock.
But you also have this IP 43, which is a little more scary because, well, it's not a little more scary. IP 44 is they're actually paying people to gather signatures, and I believe Soros is footing the bill on that one. Soros just needs to stay the heck out of our state.
Yeah. Well,
these
get out of the country.
Yeah, Bloomberg's already turned our Senate over and our House over, so the Democrats have total control. I liked it better when it was 50-50 in the Senate and they
Yeah.
couldn't make a decision.
Yeah, 50-50, nothing gets done. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's been 92 times since 1820. 92 times. I just found this stat out. The Supreme Court has taken up the issues of guns and they've come to the opinion 92 times that we have an individual right, inherent individual right to keep and bear arms. But these tyrants that are running our government now, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get it. Liberty is the possession of men, not government gift. That was in the Petition of Rights of 1628. Clear back then, they knew it.
Yeah. Well, the government class doesn't really believe that in liberty.
No.
They believe that.
Well, it's time for us to teach them about liberty. We'll just take if they won't protect our rights, which is their only job,
Yeah.
then we're doing it by initiative. We're going to do it by the initiative process. What else is left? We don't want to pick up guns, but that's all that's going to be left. These clowns just all they do is steal our money and try and steal our rights, and theft is theft,
Yeah.
even if done by government. I'm tired of it. And you know what? There's a lot of people that are tired of it too right now. That IP-43 came out. I think they woke up a sleeping giant, and I honestly believe bye Kate Brown, I think you're going bye-bye.
I would definitely agree with that.
I've heard that there are 3 Republicans right now that are all beating Kate in the polls. That's what I've heard. I haven't confirmed that, but it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
We have Douglas County has been working with a few people and their citizens and having meetings, and they're going to have 2 more meetings in June. And I believe that the county commissioners down there are wise enough that they're going to put the SAPO or Second Amendment Preservation Ordinance, I'll just call it SAPO from now on, put it on the ballot themselves, which is what I tried. I went to my county commissioners back right after, remember 541, the bill, all of a sudden they want you to do background checks on your own private property that's constitutionally protected. Well, that irked me. That irritated me. I helped tried to get Floyd Anti-Zansky recalled, and Kate Brown was the Secretary of State then. She threw out 2,700 signatures, which left us 200 short. I still kind of think there was some fuzzy math involved there, but I have no proof. But I forget where I was going with this. I forget where I was going with that.
Well,
I had a point, but I just went.
Well, Kate Brown isn't Secretary of State anymore.
No, unfortunately.
So, and I think
No, Kate Brown
Jennifer
is our
be a little more honest.
Kate Brown is our neo-Marxist community organizer that doesn't care about anybody except for the unions in Portland.
Her whole claim to fame is that she's a bisexual. So what?
I don't have any comment on that. I don't really care what her lifestyle is. I just care that she's trying to steal our rights and our money, and I'm tired of it. She's killing the middle class. I'm a business owner, and we've worked hard to make our business successful, and they just keep taking more and more taxes every year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then of course they may raise minimum wage, so you can't all of a sudden, it's going up every year for 6 years. It's time to stop. It's time to remember that they're our employees. They're there to protect our rights and to serve us, not the other way around.
Yeah, they believe that we're serfs.
Yeah.
And they are the lord of the manor.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what tyranny is. And you know what? It ain't new. It's been going. Nothing's new under the sun. History always repeats itself. Yeah. So I just can't believe we've had a 10-year assault on our right to protect ourselves. 10 years.
Yeah.
At least 10 years. It's probably been going way longer, but heavily. That seems like it's in every session of every state, in every session of Congress, at the federal level. They just can't understand these shall not be infringed. It's not that hard to understand.
Well, what's really, arrogant on their part. For the last couple of years, you know, the Democrats have been rioting, they've been assaulting people, they've attempted assassination on a congressman, they vandalized people's homes, you know.
Oh, you're
And-
talking about
And
Antifa?
these are the same people that want to take our guns.
Yeah.
They-
Well, I've stood face to face with Antifa. They're a bunch of cowards and a bunch of
yeah.
they don't even know what they want. I've asked them, and they say we just want to tear it all down. Well, what do you want to replace it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. We just want to tear it all down. Well, traditionally in history, what replaces is some kind of form of socialism or communism.
Well, you can bet.
And
the
they're
people
carrying
that are-
communist flags, so I guess that's what they want. But evidently, they don't know history.
Well, the people financing the chaos, they have a plan. They've got something in mind
Oh,
for
yeah.
replacing it.
Well, the rich man will do very well if we have communism in this country, because they can consolidate all the wealth in them. There will be no more middle class.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not just I call them far left radicals, because there are probably one or two good Democrats. We have a fairly good one we have Betsy Johnson in our county, and she votes for our rights every time.
Yeah. But
I mean,
you
I
know,
don't agree with everything she does, but I agree with that.
well, she does vote the right way. But I've noticed that they'll take her off the committee
Yeah.
and they'll
I don't
replace her for that one vote so they can get it into the main house or on the floor of the Senate. And then after that vote, they'll put her back on. You know,
Well, they pull
the
a lot.
leadership.
They pull a lot of tricks. I just wanted to mention that 917 last year, that confiscation bill under the guise of suicide prevention. That's such a joke. It violated the Second, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Ninth, and 14th Amendment. So it's not just about guns; it's about rights. We got to stand up. I just read I was on the internet, and this lady from Italy put out a tweet. I guess it's called. I don't do it so. And she said, Americans, hang on to your guns, because Italy and Europe gave up their guns, and now we get arrested for Facebook posts. So you can see they've been going after the First Amendment too, your protected speech, all over the country, and especially in universities, which is where all this Marxist ideology comes from. So, you know, it ought to prove it to people. If they take your guns, if they take our guns, the whole world's going to be enslaved.
Well, they plan to enslave us. I mean, they're already working on it real hard. I mean, it's not like they're doing this behind closed doors.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, they're pretty out in the open with it.
Isn't it somehow blatantly obvious they are now? We need to, you know, I'm not Republican or a Democrat. We've been messed over by both sides. In fact, I call him Ferris Bueller, the guy running for governor. Ferris Bueller needs a day off. He doesn't need to be governor. If you're going to pick a Republican governor, pick either Sam Carpenter or Bruce Cuff. I'm not telling anybody how to
I did a
vote.
program with Bruce Cuff.
He's a good
I
guy.
think he'll do a good job.
Yeah. But I think Sam Carpenter
I also
is
like
doing good too.
Aaron Hour, the Constitution Party candidate. Well, I'm in the Constitution Party.
And I would love to see a Constitution Party win, but we know right now that's not going to happen. They got to beat Kate Brown.
Yeah.
But this is an important election, probably the most important one, Oregon has ever seen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Kate Brown is obvious. They passed 6 or 7 new small business taxes in the last 2 sessions. Some of them haven't even hit us yet.
Yeah.
And my wife and I got hammered this year, even worse than last year. And last year was worse than the year before. What's it going to be like next year? You know, if you don't have any money left over, you can't upgrade your stores or innovate or any of that stuff that makes this country go.
Yeah. The Democrats have a lot of billionaire donors. You know, people like Bill Gates and Tom Steyer and these people. But it seems like if you're not one of the billionaire class, they want you to be in poverty.
Right.
And that's what these
Well, they know.
laws and regulations before these taxes.
You got a few people think they're intellectuals. They know more than you. They know better than you. And of course, these laws aren't going to affect them. They're not going to affect their children. They just affect you, me, them. it's they can do whatever they want. They're obviously do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about them. All I want is to protect. I want my children to grow up and be able to do whatever they want without being arrested for it, and to be able to go out hunting and shooting or defending themselves or whatever they have to do. I want them to be able to go to church or to get up and speak out if they don't agree with something without getting thrown in handcuffs. But that's where we're going. I mean, history repeats itself.
Once they take our guns, you're not going to be allowed to speak anything that hasn't been pre-approved by George Soros and company.
Well, I'm a dead man then, because I can't keep
You're
my
not
mouth
going to
shut.
be able to go to the church of your choice.
No, there won't. If there is a church.
And yeah, I mean they're already chipping away at everything.
Mhm.
You know, why wouldn't they just go ahead and abolish it if they can get away with it?
Well, it's all about. It's definitely about control.
Yeah.
It's not about guns. Look, guns are good. They're why we're free. That's why people are here. They prevent crime. There's over a dozen scholarly reports that say that defensive gun use has stopped between 700,000 and 2.5 million crimes a year. And of course, a lot of those aren't reported. That's why they're saying up to 2.5 million. That's over a dozen of scholarly reports. And then even the Clinton administration, that would be Bill Clinton, the Justice Department, said that there could be as many as 3.4 million defensive gun uses a year. So you get about 1,500 people. They say 30,000 people dying from guns. Take away the 50% that commit suicide. Take away the accidents. Take away the 1,500 killed by police. I come up with about 1,500 people get killed with guns every year. I mean, in a crime. Yeah, that's bad, but it's like, it's like 0.0000046% of our population, which is nothing. And then you turn around and see there's 2.5 million people a year getting their lives saved and crime stopped by guns. They're good. It stops crimes. That's why we give them to police. You know, it saves lives. That's why we give them to police. They also are a big part of our economy. They're the second economists, or I guess you call it economies. I don't know how to really say this. They're the second leading sport in the country, $1 billion ahead of golf. People buy 9 billion rounds of ammunition every year. Why? Because guns are fun. So, and they do, doing good things like going to the range or target practicing or hunting. They don't hurt anybody. So, if anybody believes these laws will stop one crime, they're out of their mind. Cocaine's illegal. You still get it on any street corner. If they make guns illegal, criminals will still get them, and they'll just have a bunch of sitting ducks.
Well, guns are available. The Obama administration got caught giving Mexican cartels guns.
Yes, I knew Mike Vanderboog. He's the one who turned them in. He's a good guy.
And that's what they got caught.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's corruption. But there's also human error.
Yeah. Oh, human error. Now let's talk about that for a minute. If they make you register guns, they say there's 300 million guns and 100 million gun owners. I think it's a little north of that. But then I was looking at some stats the other day. So they would have 70,000 people moving per day that they would have to keep track of too.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have to form another bureaucracy. It's going to cost a lot of money. They make mistakes. If they only make 1% of mistake, it's something like 2 or 3 million crimes a year pressed against people who have done nothing. They just didn't have the right number written down or something. It's stupid. You know what? We don't have to ask their permission. We have a right to keep and bear arms, and they're gonna have to come and take mine. I'm not gonna give them to them. And I was gonna move. I was almost ready to move to Idaho. If they would have passed that that insane universal health care, which would have brought every bum under a bridge to this state to get free health care, I was out of here. Because, I mean, how can you pay for that? Well, how's that? I mean, we need new leadership in Salem. Or not leadership, I don't like to call them leaders. We need new representation.
Yeah.
We need new
We're
employees.
not really being represented right now.
No.
We got people in there that say they represent us.
I haven't had one thing I've voted on in the past 20 years. Well, except for maybe Measure 69. But then they turned around and repackaged it and sold it to the idiots that don't read as something else.
Yeah, maybe we should take Multnomah County and make it its own country.
Well, let's just cede it to Washington. I said that to some people in Washington. They said, no, we'll give you Seattle. We have the same problem up here. Seattle calls all the shots. And there's a lot of good people in Washington. I've gone to a lot of rallies up there, and I feel sorry for them too. It's just crazy. I don't even know when when people stop teaching their kids history. They stop teaching people about their rights. But I try to teach as many kids as I can now. And I do this all for free. I don't get a dime. I wouldn't take a dime. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm really worried about for our country, and I'm worried about for our children.
Yeah. And it's not an accident that our rights aren't being taught to our children.
Oh, I know.
They know what they're doing.
There are
and they've been working at it a lot longer than we've been aware of what they're doing.
Exactly. And we need to turn around. We need to educate ourselves, educate our children, and say no more. No more. They don't have, when they were ratifying the Bill of Rights, you had two groups. You had the Federalists, the Anti-Federalists. The Federalists said, look, we don't need a Bill of Rights because the government doesn't have any right to touch any of this. And if we put it down, they'll think they need to regulate it, and then they'll have to define it, and then they'll have to regulate it to make sure it's not being violated, which makes absolutely no sense because they're just not supposed to touch it. Well, they were right, but the other side said, look, people forget their rights from time to time. You need something tangible for them to look at. And if you don't write it down, they'll forget. And they were right too.
Yeah.
But I think if we wouldn't have had the Bill of Rights, I honestly believe we would have lost all of our rights long ago. Now they try to tell you that the Constitution doesn't matter. The Constitution matters. Constitution is a contract. It's a compact between the states. And it means what it was said in it at the time it was written. And, every law that violates the Constitution is not a law. People don't understand that. These lawyers don't even understand it. They're constitution. They practice constitutional law, not they don't read the Constitution.
No,
I've talked to several of them. They go by case law, and it's an opinion from a court that could have been wrong. And then the next one could have been wrong, and pretty soon you're a mile away from the Constitution. I'm sick of people saying that the Constitution doesn't matter. It matters if the people say it matters, and I say it matters. So.
And that brings us to another issue. You were talking earlier about the so-called boyfriend law, where they take.
Oh, you're talking about 4145?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a joke that is. They redefined what a family member is, and there's a list of about 6 or 8 of them, and 2 of them were. All it is a way to expand the list to confiscate guns. So anybody you ever had sexual relations with or lived with ever, they're a family member now. So it could have been somebody you lived with 20 years ago, and you can put a restraining order on them. They go get your guns without due process.
Yeah.
Which is
they say
important.
There's due process. You go in front of a judge, but going in front of a Democrat judge, that is not due process.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think
needs to be changed too. Is the judicial system got to have judges that believe in the Constitution.
You know what we need to do? We've been trying to figure out a way to do this. Oregon law says you can have jury nullification. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be in the law. It's a natural right. Just like nullification is a natural right.
Well, that's why the jury system was created. I mean, if you're just going to go by what the government law,
It is
You
a
can go in
check.
front of a judge.
It's
That's
a check
your
on the
job.
Constitution. It's a check.
Yeah.
And the only people who are above the law is the jury. The jury can decide, no, we like this guy. He had good reasons for what he did. We don't like the law. They can decide whatever they want.
Yeah.
But the judges in this state tell people it's illegal to perform jury nullification. But how would they ever know unless you told them? The judge is supposed to be just the referee, but they've just stolen the power of the jury from us and the grand jury.
Yeah, I went to a jury trial.
It's
I was
tyranny.
observing it, and one of the guys actually said that they were all asked what the job of jury is, and he said to listen to the facts and make my decision on whether it's right or what I believe is right or wrong. He was kicked off right then.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, they kind of guide you and lead you to what they want you to believe, don't they? And Oregon's only one of 2 states that don't have the 12-man jury for and unanimous decision for every single case. That's the way it's supposed to be. Ben Franklin said, "Better 100 criminals get away than one innocent man go to prison." But they want to speed up the process of throwing your rear end in the prison or collecting money or whatever it is. Taxation by citation, they do that a lot. But it's everybody needs to know that jury nullification is your right and your duty. If that's why in the Old West, somebody raped somebody's daughter or something, a guy shot him. A lot of time he'd get off because people said, I would have done the same thing. They put himself in, they judged the act, the law, and whether this guy should be held to that law. And we need to get back to that, and it'll take a lot of power away from the government.
Now, of the counties that are resisting the gun grabbers, is Marion County one of them?
I'd have to look at the list, but I believe so.
I know.
You know what? We've got Multnomah County and Lane County. That's what surprised me. And I told
one?
Multnomah County. 3%, Oregon 3% is trying for Multnomah County. And we got Lane County, which I told Multnomah County, I said, good for you. It's a long road to a quick heartache, but I hope they make it. I hope they make it.
Yeah.
That would just tick off a lot of people, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would freak a lot of people out.
That's right. What is that noise?
Okay, so we've got a little over a minute. Is there any?
Yeah, I'd like to say,
want
if anybody
people to
wants to
contact
be
or
a
anything?
chief petitioner to protect their rights in their county, Second Amendment Preservation Ordinance, you can get a hold of me at oroathkeepcontact@gmail.com. It's left over from when I'm still an oath keeper. I'm just not part of the group anymore. I resigned, but I still have it's oroathkeepcontact@gmail.com, and I will get you in touch. I am the northern coordinator for this thing. Tom McCurgan's the southern coordinator. Tim Harris is the eastern coordinator, and Rob Taylor is the state coordinator organizing it all. So we'll take care of you, and we'll help you through the initiative process. And let's save our counties. Let's make all of our counties sanctuary counties for guns.
Yeah, sanctuary county for the Constitution instead of for a foreign criminal.
There you go. They've already given their oath of office. Pledged their oath of office. They need to stand up to it. And let's get rid of all these tyrants that don't believe in the Constitution.
Yeah, 2018 is very important if we're going
Yes,
to
sir.
take back our country. We better do it soon.
Yes, sir.
And we're out of time. And
All right.
thank you for coming on.
Thank you.